In part 2 of this mini-series, we'll take a deep dive into the creation of the Knoll Barcelona Chair, originally designed by Ludwig Mies van der Rohe for the King and Queen of Spain. Daniel and I investigated the multi-step process of manufacturing and selling the chair, some of which we were able to discuss with a few top executives at Knoll, including Jane Rosansky, Vice President of Operations at Knoll, Dino Lucci, the R&D Coordinator at Knoll International, and Demetrio Apolloni, the President of Knoll Europe. Our goal was to develop a deep understanding of how the Barcelona Chair is constructed and explore the economic, environmental, and social costs of producing it.
Based on our research and the interviews that we conducted, it is clear that, from the sourcing of raw materials to the final stages of production, quality is the primary consideration in the manufacturing of a Barcelona Chair, with environmental sustainability and labor rights being conscientious, foundational concerns.
We learned that one of the central materials for the chair, its leather, comes from a Knoll subsidiary named Spinebeck.
Spinebeck, founded in 1962 and headquartered in New York, has a reputation for producing some of the highest quality leather around.
Spinebeck is also a company that cares deeply about mitigating its environmental impact. The raw materials of their leather start off as byproducts of the meat industry in Italy.
As stated on their website, Spinebeck enjoys long-standing relationships with its tannery partners and suppliers of hides and tanning products to the tannery. The chain of supply was established in the late 1960s and ensures consistency in raw material, in tanning products and processes, and in color consistency through the use of high-quality aniline dyes. The Italian leather industry is highly regulated by the Italian government.
Spinebeck works hard to ensure that, from the harvesting of the raw materials to the manner in which they are shipped, it is done efficiently and environmentally.
This is a trend that is seen with all of the materials used in the Barcelona Chair. When we interviewed Dino and asked about the materials used in the frame, he responded,
"The steel is made with a recycled material. So there are materials that are required, new materials, and steel is one that can be recycled." During our interview with Demetrio, the president of Knoll Europe, we asked where all of the materials come from. Everything we source is in Italy, including the foam used in the chair.
Also, the Barcelona Chair's frame is constructed in Italy.
The fact that everything is locally sourced is environmentally friendly because raw products don't have to come from all over the globe before assembly. As we shifted our focus to the manufacturing process, we found that the current Barcelona Chair is put together by a company called Interbeta, outside of the city of Verona.
Noel has been working in partnership with Interbeta since 1984. From Jane, the Vice President of Operations, we learned that the frame comes in 5 pieces.
There is a left side, right side, a crossbar at the top, a crossbar at the seat level in the back, and a crossbar in the front. And from the raw materials and to packaging, it takes 15 different steps just to construct the frame. Daniel and I had done our fair share of research into Knoll, and we were interested in their unique tie to Italy, so we wondered, why Italy?
We asked, first Dino, the R&D coordinator at Knoll International.
We could make the chair somewhere else in Europe, and it would be cheaper than in Italy to make. The problem is that no place can guarantee this quality at this price. It's not as simple, so you have probably seen many copies, but you'll immediately spot the difference in quality. After hearing Jane and Demetrio repeat Dino's argument about the quality of the chair, it became clear that Knoll values quality above all else.
We asked Dino and Jane to further explain the manufacturing process so we could understand the steps that resulted in such a high-end finished product.
The chrome and the protection of the chrome, because there is no chrome, so you wouldn't think that it's made from combining different pieces, are welded. And then you don't know where are the connections. And there is one more thing you have to consider, is the price that you pay includes the reassurance that the quality is good, and you know that there are no problems with the chair and that it won't break.
If you didn't understand that, Dino stated that the welds are so good that they can't be seen, and when you invest in a chair, you don't have to ever worry about it breaking because of the quality of construction.
Upon further research, we found that the Barcelona Chair is made up of hand-welded seams and hand-tufted leather panels. After hearing about the workmanship, we asked how long it takes someone to train to make a Barcelona Chair. The chair requires special attention and people to make it. It takes about 6 months before a trainee can try and make their first chair.
6 months! I still can't believe that, but I think that's reflected pretty well in the crazy price. We were curious about the working conditions where the chairs are assembled. Often, workers experience the cost of a company's attempts to maximize profits. Knoll is a relatively large company with a well-respected reputation, so we wondered how their workers were treated.
The people are well protected by the laws. Italy is a country where it is really hard to fire a person. Another big thing is the health of the people. So in Italy, if an accident happens at a plant, it's a big deal. There are even more laws about the health and safety of the people than in the United States.
When we compared the rights of the two countries, we saw that Italy has a more robust protection system safeguarding the rights and treatments of employees. Factory workers in Italy are entitled to 3 weeks of paid vacation per year. In the US, workers average about 10 days of paid leave a year, but employers are not legally entitled to any paid vacation days. Also, if let go, all workers in Italy are guaranteed a severance pay of 7.5% of their annual salary times the number of years they were employed. In the States, severance pay is not a mandated right.
It is clear that on a variety of levels that the average worker in Italy has exponentially better working conditions than his counterpart working in the United States. Beyond the impact on workers, the manufacturing process of a Barcelona chair also takes an environmental toll.
In this regard, Knoll takes a lot into consideration. Dino talked to us about the precautions taken when working with one of the most harmful chemicals used in the chrome process of the frame.
The checks are very strict. Where we do all the chroming, it's all sealed so that there's not a drop of any chemical can touch the floor. Everything is like in the huge tray. In Italy, there are many environmental checks, but even the strictest laws don't prevent environmental damage.
That's true. The impact of getting raw materials to assembly by truck and then transporting finished chairs to what the fuck? Okay. The impact of getting raw materials to assemble by truck and then transporting finished chairs by ship to the US is generally harmful for the environment. These are parts of the carbon footprint costs of all products within the commerce cycle. Yet Knoll has tried to mitigate the effects that manufacturing their products have on the environment. The Barcelona Chair is Clean Air Gold certified by Intertek, a company that measures the quality, safety, and sustainability of products.
Intertek gives products one of 3 ratings, of which the most prestigious is Clean Air Gold, an assurance that a product meets the regulations of several high reputable organizations and government agencies that rate and regulate sustainability.
Knoll has worked hard to create a product that fits into the ever-growing environmental and human rights ethos of the modern world. Knoll has even developed a unique way to ship the chairs that allows for more to be moved in a smaller amount of space, saving the company money while also helping the environment. In this sense, efficient business practices can be in tune with the ethical business philosophies.
The high production and quality standards of the Barcelona chair come at a significant cost. The chair starts at $6,223 and can go all the way up to $8,100, depending on a customer's customizations and choice of materials. The chair is not cheap by any standard.
Cost has made the chair very inaccessible to the masses. It is an exclusive product, and Knoll's practice of building quality, sustainability, and conscientiousness into its designs is not an easily repeatable business model. If IKEA made products as Knoll does, they could never afford to sell them at IKEA prices and hope to stay in the business.
That's very true, and it reminds me of something Demetrio said when we interviewed him. If you do a product like Barcelona, the Tulip chair, these iconic products, it is the best example of sustainability. When we think about sustainability, we think in some ways, how long is the life of the product? So if you have the Barcelona, it can be a part of your family history, because it's something that, when one day you decide to move on to have in your apartment, you can ask, can I add the Barcelona into my house? Then one day, your son, he can ask, can I keep your Barcelona? Because it's something that doesn't have any reason to be in some way destroyed, because the quality is very high. It can be in your home for more than 100 years without any issues. So this is, for me, a good example of sustainability. You think about some product by IKEA. IKEA is a product where you buy and don't think about the price, because after 2 years, 3 years, you throw away and take in the new one. This is not good for sustainability. It is easy to see Demetrio's point. Over 9.8 million tons of furniture waste is thrown out each year, approximately the same weight of 5 million cars, or 250 full-size cruise ships. As someone who has had both Knoll and IKEA products in my home, I know firsthand that Knoll products do not add much to the vast collection of furniture waste. When my family was in a temporary sublet before moving to our permanent home, we bought an IKEA dining table. After less than a year, the table was in such a rough shape that we chose to toss it rather than use it in our new home. The table was temporary, but now, in my living room, we have a Barcelona Daybed, which we have owned for more than 5 years. They have not been kind years. Countless people have sat on the daybed during parties and gatherings. Drinks have been spilled on it, and it's seen its fair share of roughhousing for my brother and me. Yet, we have never had to have it repaired. It's in great shape, and I imagine it will be around until when I'm ready to move into my own home, however many years from now. Unlike the IKEA table, Knoll furniture is not temporary, it's meant to be permanent.
Throughout our history researching the Barcelona Chair, we learned about the fascinating history of its origin, the sourcing of its raw materials, and we've looked into the manufacturing process as well. We also examined some of the human and environmental costs of producing the chair and found that, though expensive, the chair is built to last. Before our journey came to an end, we were able to sit down with the CEO of Knoll, Andrew Cogan, to discuss a few last thoughts.
Andrew has been the CEO of Knoll since 2001. When I interviewed him, the primary question I wanted answered was, how can other companies emulate Knoll's model of environmental, ethical, and quality manufacturing on a more affordable scale? I think that it is very hard to get to where Knoll has gotten. That becomes quite visible when you look at other companies knocking us off. Their products are subpar, they employ and work with suspicious manufacturers, and those companies don't care about their carbon footprint. The reality of it is that the quality and the standard of which we operate is at much higher than the majority of companies. In order to serve our customers with the best possible product around, there is a cost. The Barcelona Chair is a distinctive product with a distinctive manufacturing history. It is what many would consider something that becomes more desirable as its price, and therefore its status increases. Through researching the actual construction and assembly of the product, what becomes clear is that building the chair's reputation is also part of its creation, part of its manufacturing process. In that sense, the Barcelona Chair is really more than the sum of its parts.
We've now taken a deep dive into the rich history behind the Barcelona Chair, which originates from Ludwig Mies van der Rohe's first iconic design. We've also investigated where the materials are sourced and assembled. After countless amounts of contribution from all around the world, the Barcelona Chair is ready to be sold. It's shipped to America, where consumers buy it online or in person.
Our first steps were to look up Barcelona Chair on the internet. Interestingly enough, Google tried to autofill our search with Barcelona Chair Replica and Barcelona Chair IKEA. This was weird because we know that the Barcelona Chair is a luxury item that has been produced by Knoll for many decades.
We proceeded with the search, and Google put advertisements for Barcelona chairs sold by companies such as modernclassics.com above the website link to Knoll. We opened these pages, and weirdly enough, each of these chairs was selling for under $2,000, less than a third of Knoll's actual price tag of $6,223. These were quite obviously knockoffs. Since the knockoffs were all over the internet, we interviewed Kim Lan, a senior vice president at Knoll's consumer section, to find what Knoll does to counteract these producers. She told us about what Knoll was doing to teach U.S. trade agents to prevent knockoffs from coming in.
What we do is we actually go to the customs ports, and there are like search and seizure teams there, and so we educate them on how to find knockoffs. And so when they're imported in, sometimes they will seize somebody's goods because they know that it's a knockoff.
She sent us the same presentation that Knoll sends to law enforcement, which shows differences between knockoffs and real products. On it are pictures showing Knoll versus knockoffs, highlighting different features such as the shape of the chroma frame, the way it is attached to the chair, and the angle of the chair.
In order to get a perspective from both sides, we decided to call up someone who is selling knockoff Barcelona chairs. We called the number we found on BarcelonaChairShop.com and pretended that we were potential buyers. We called multiple times, but since they're located in Europe, there is quite a large time zone difference. However, after 3 or so tries, someone picked up.
BarcelonaChair.com, how can I help you?
Hi. I was just interested in buying a Barcelona chair from you guys, right? And I was kind of wondering, right? So I know that the original design is from Knoll. So I was wondering, what's the difference between your chair and Knoll's chair? Like, is there a difference in, like, the materials?
That's okay. I understand. Yeah, the materials are actually identical because our Barcelona chairs are made from inline leather. However, I do have to note that if you look at Knoll Studios, they have 3 types of leather. The frame's also been polished, just like the originals. The strips of ours are made of PVC, and it's basically to hold the base of the, to hold the foundation of the chair.
Actually, so I was like looking at the prices, right? And I noticed that it's like it's almost like 1/10 or like 1/8 of the price, right? How do you if you guys are still using leather and high quality materials, how do you cut the cost?
Well, basically they're made in Asia. And yeah, in Asia, basically,
Where in
the
Asia?
costs
Sorry.
are we're in Asia, just in China. So yeah, the costs are very low there, and yeah, basically, therefore we can afford to sell the chair for this price. But it's also due to the fact that you look at Knoll Studios, they have like, of course, the label of Miss Van Rohe on it. And that's also a value of customers they want to purchase it. But yeah, I definitely believe.
How long have you guys been selling these chairs? Was it just like, did you guys start selling?
About 8 years now. Yeah, about 8,
Wow.
8 years. My colleagues has been towards has gone towards China, around like 20 manufacturers to reassemble like a perfect identical premium Barcelona chair of the comparison of the Knoll Studios. And yeah, we're very proud of it. And luckily for this amount of price, to make a chair that is affordable instead of one that is really expensive in our opinion.
Since we were talking a lot about the affordability of the chair, we wanted to get the perspective of someone who could actively afford to purchase from Knoll. We went directly to their flagship store in New York City, located in Manhattan's 6th Avenue and 53rd Street. As we first walked in, we were impressed by the modern yet cozy feeling of the store, furnished by both historically famous and new designs alike. We spotted an affluent-looking lady, sipping on coffee as she browsed through catalogs showing the newest pieces of Knoll furniture, and asked her why she was shopping at Knoll. What brought you to this store today?
Well, I've been coming here for a while because we bought furniture here several times, and we're adding furniture to house. So
I see.
our apartment has no furniture, and now we're doing our house. We've been happy with Knoll, so.
Yeah, so my project revolves around the Barcelona chair.
Oh yeah, I know.
What do you think about the Barcelona chair, like from a design perspective?
The design, okay. Actually, we thought about putting it into our apartment, but then we decided not because we thought it's like office-like. And when we sat on, and we actually bought this room chair, which is like very comfortable.
I see.
Like you watch TV, put your legs up, and
definitely.
you like cuddle.
Part of what makes a successful brand is not only a good product, but also salespeople. Right after the interview, an employee by the name of Alice Murphy introduced herself to us. Alice has been working at Knoll for 3 years and has a degree in design that she got from the New York School of Interior Design. We wanted to know what makes customers gravitate towards Knoll as opposed to any other furniture company. Since the lady we interviewed focused more on the comfort and functionality of Knoll furniture, Alice gave us more perspective on the reputation of Knoll from a design perspective.
These are classic pieces, you know, they're well known. Every design student or architecture student or art student knows about all of these great designers and artists. The majority of our customers really are educated, and they know who the designers are and what is important about these pieces of furniture. And they're so important because it really was the beginning of a whole new style of living. I would say that's a big part of why I stay here and why I love working for Knoll, because it's just iconic. I mean, people walk in off of the street that are just tourists, and they are just walking by and they see Knoll and they're just like, I've got to go in and look at this furniture.
According to the U.S.'s Bureau of Labor Statistics, there are 481,000 other workers in the U.S. that have a job involving furniture retailing. These are people just like Kim Land and Alice Murphy, who get furniture to your house, whether they are store clerks, retailers, managers, or the truck drivers that deliver your order.
We felt that it was important not only to get the perspective of those that work in retail, so we went to seek Knoll's office workers. We were shown around the upstairs facilities, which was a multi-floored corporate office which was obviously filled with, well, all types of lavish furniture. It was a busy environment with fellow employees talking about plans and updating the websites.
Quite a few workers at Knoll were looking at the website, which features the Barcelona Chair on its front page. It's very specific, showcasing the chair with many pictures from different layouts, and under those pictures are details about the construction process and dimensions. At the very bottom of the page, a very specific timeline for the Barcelona Chair collection is linked, where hundreds of different events regarding those designs are elaborately documented in chronological order. The history of the product and the designer are also included, further building the brand and its image of luxury.
This is one of the ways Knoll faces its knockoff competitors. It establishes itself as the epitome of luxury furniture design, irreplaceable because of its deep roots in history. However, this isn't the sole value that Knoll derives from the internet. It is indisputable that many of their sales come directly through their website, since in the United States, e-commerce actually accounts for around 12% of total furniture sales.
However, by going to the store, we realized that we had actually acquired much more insight about the chair by actually sitting on it and touching the materials as opposed to simply looking at images of it online. This explains why a survey conducted in 2018, 80% of respondents replied that they preferred shopping in person. There is still much more room for internet retailing to grow, and as technology develops, it is very likely that people will start to lean towards the convenience of shopping at home, as shown by Knoll's elaborate Barcelona collection timeline.
However, while the internet has helped Knoll fight back against knockoffs and increase their sales, the internet has also promoted the spread of Knoll knockoffs. Remember the advertisements on Google search that began this whole investigation? The links to the Knoll knockoffs? Those are advertisements that potential purchasers of Knoll products might click on instead, taking away from Knoll's revenue. We even found an article, published by The Spruce, on the internet of course, which provided the reader with methods of telling whether or not the Barcelona chair was authentic.
Let's go back to Alice, the employee at the store that we interviewed. Since Alice had clearly established that she was an enthusiast about the Knoll designs, we decided to ask her a bit more about the knockoffs. More specifically, we wanted to talk about internet retailing. She told us that because of internet retailing,
it was a lot easier for people to get the images and even get dimensions, and so it just made it a lot easier. Before, people would have to travel to find the chair, then they would have to try to take images of it, try to get the dimensions. So it did just make life easier for those that want to knock it on.
Kim Land, the senior vice president of consumers that we interviewed earlier, was also able to tell us quite a bit about this issue. How has the introduction of internet retail changed the sales of the Barcelona chair?
Sure. So internet retailing allowed for a much broader distribution of Knoll's Barcelona chair, both on Knoll.com and retail partners of ours like Design Within Reach, Hive Modern. So there are, some wholesale retailers online that also sell Knoll beside ourselves. So many more people were able to see the chair and learn about its history, its design features, etc. And it began to be marketed, more broadly for residential use once the internet, made that possible. So end users or design enthusiast consumers were able to buy it for themselves versus having to go through an interior designer. It did also enable more players to sell knockoffs online because most of the people who sell knockoffs, they're not companies that are in retailing in bricks and mortar, right? They don't have stores usually. Most of the ones who are selling knockoffs, a few exceptions, but most people who are selling knockoffs do it online. So, made it easier. If you want to say it lowered the hurdles to be able to sell a knockoff.
We wanted to learn more about the Google search, as that was an integral part of discovering Knoll. Kim told us,
obviously, when you sell online, a large way people find you is through Google search. So you bid on keywords like the term Barcelona chair, so that on Google or Bing, so people will know, obviously, where to come find you. That means that there's a lot of competition in doing that.
How have knockoffs impacted the sales of the Barcelona chair?
It's very hard to say exactly because people who really want a Barcelona chair, they know quality design, they know Knoll, they want something that has the stamp of Mies van der Rohe and of Knoll on the goods, right? So they want authenticity. So they're willing to pay. They may want to buy it when we're having a sale because they want to save some money, but they're not going to be taken in by like a $765 knockoff because they just will know. Like every day they'll go in their living room and be like, oh, that is really just not, So the people who are buying a knockoff are probably not going to be buying our goods anyway.
Now that we have talked about the design, sourcing, assembly, retailing, and knockoffs of the Barcelona Chair, we hope you have a better understanding of the making of this iconic design. Thanks for tuning in.